There's a lot more than live and let die locations in New York City. Behind me, we've got Matt Spaiser of the Suits of James Bond, and we're going to get to interview him today. Who knows what he's going to say, but let's go find out. Come on. All right, we are here with Matt Spaiser. In this is your lair. We're actually in your place.
That's right.
I love this, in the heart of New York City. Now, Matt, first of all, for those of you that have obviously been under a rock, you run the Suits of James Bond, a very, very popular website. Step back for a moment, because I know a lot of people wanted to find out what made you create this website.
Yeah, I created it because I would just see a lot of things written on James Bond clothes online, things that were just so wrong. People just didn't look at the clothes and they didn't know what they were looking at. But there was a void at the time of information on what James Bond's clothes were about. There were websites like the Excellent Bond Lifestyle, and that looked at more of the recent Bond clothes and right. More into the products, but not really into what James Bond's clothes, what they're really about, and
right.
How James Bond wears his clothes.
And I think that's what people get so amazed about with your website. I mean, I go there very often, and it's really down to the detail of how many buttons, what the buttons are made out of. Was a button undone, the cut of the suit. Whereas I think a lot of websites, like the Remmert one that you were referring to, and even mine, with some of the reviews, says, okay, this is a Bruno Cucinelli outfit. Done. Here's what it looks like. Good night. You really get out into the very, very deepest part of that. Is that part of what you're passionate about?
Yeah, it is those details about those buttons. Like say the buttons on this blazer, I put these on myself. These smoke mother of pearl buttons. And James Bond didn't wear these really, but on his blazers. But it's just those details that were what really makes the clothes special. And I wanted to learn from James Bond about those details and find out for myself, and really see how to use those kinds of small details in the way that I dress.
So what came first? Was it your love of fashion and details, or was it the love of James Bond?
Well, it was definitely James Bond.
Nice.
I learned about, I was watching James Bond before I could wear nice clothes.
Right.
I mean, as a little boy, my parents would dress me in a blue blazer.
Wow.
And, for special occasions.
Right.
And then, but, I was dressed in American clothes. And then I see James Bond, and I'm kind of seeing James Bond's clothes are different than what I see in America. And
right.
I kind of wanted to know what that was really all about.
Now, it's interesting. So I've gotten to know Matt over the last few years. And one of the things that I've noticed about him, and you may have as well, is that you have an opinion, which I love this. There are so many websites that say, all right, here's a factual moment. But when you don't like something, you say it. So you felt a certain way about some of the modern Daniel Craig suits.
Oh, yes.
Talk to us about that.
Well, his clothes in his first two movies I thought were great. There were a lot of great things, and they followed a lot of what James Bond always had been about. Mm-hmm. And then with Skyfall, the suits just they started following this current trend of clothes being too tight. Apart from just, I don't think it looks good, but apart from that, I don't think that it really works for James Bond. It doesn't work for someone that really needs to move in his suits.
Right.
Those suits are not really moving with him very well.
That's true. He's an action man, but he's almost constricted.
Yeah.
Seem to fight each other.
There also were problems with like Pierce Brosnan's suits in GoldenEye being a little too big, and that also isn't so great for moving in either.
Right.
But there has to be a balance that Sean Connery always achieved in the way that his clothes fit.
Right.
They were trim, but had a lot of fullness in areas like in the chest, and it was believable that he was able to conceal a PPK inside of his jacket.
That's true.
And also be able to move very well in his clothes.
That's a really interesting point that I hadn't thought about. Is with Connery, things fit, they look absolutely tailored, but they don't look tight, and they certainly don't look Brosnan huge either.
They're so perfectly balanced.
Yeah.
They are big compared to what people wear today. Even if their clothes aren't too tight, his clothes are. They certainly have a fullness to them that you don't really see in current fashions.
Right, right.
But they're also they really work for James Bond and on so many levels.
Yeah, yeah. Now because of your website's popularity, and it's amazingly, the blog and the connection, your Instagram, everything has been very popular. You've been published as well. So talk to me about how all of I was going to say notoriety, that's a real negative. How do you deal with all the adoration, the press, people asking you questions all the time? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you deal with it?
No, I mean, I really like hearing from people. I've gotten to know people and make friends all over the world through my blog, and that's what that's one of my favorite things about doing this, is being able to to speak with people all over the world, find out what other people are interested in, and learn from them too. I've learned a lot from communicating with people from my blog. But yeah, I mean, I get a lot of emails just asking me all kinds of things about James Bond's clothes.
So sometimes you ever get somebody that's like, hey, what do you think would look right on me? And it's like, well, hold on a second, I'm not a shopping company. It's like, I'm not going to be a personal shopper for you. I mean, some people can go too far.
Well, I do get that a lot. And I do have, if someone looks like a certain character in the James Bond films and I've read about that character, I can compare them to that. If someone is the size of Goldfinger, I can point them to how Goldfinger was dressed.
Right. You got a Peaky Blinder cap and
yeah. And if someone has a certain complexion, if they're similar to Roger Moore's complexion or similar to Sean Connery's complexion, I can kind of point them in that direction and at least compare them to James Bond a little and help them learn from what James Bond did.
By the way, you can tell we're in New York City. You thought we were on a sound stage sometime? No, that's real. So I have to bring up, since you brought him up, Roger Moore. You have a soft spot for Roger Moore.
Oh, I love Roger Moore.
Talk to me about all that. As an actor, as a character, his fashion.
Everything about him. I mean, well, not everything, but his. I think I've always loved his take on James Bond, and it's definitely different than most other takes on James Bond.
Right.
But I just find him such a joy to watch.
Yeah.
I'm not. I can watch his movies and not have to take them seriously because he's not taking them seriously, so I don't have to think about it too much.
Yeah.
Not going to overanalyze the problems that some people might find in his movies because nothing is being taken seriously.
That's true.
And I just find it great. But also his fashion has inspired me. I mean, this blazer, it's Italian. It's a canale. James Bond didn't wear canale in the movies. He did in one of the continuation novels. I've had this blazer before that.
Oh my gosh!
But it's a hopsack weave, which Roger Moore wore in The Spy Loved Me and Moonraker, and that was something that inspired this. And then to get instead of his like silver toned metal buttons,
right?
These buttons have a very similar effect. His are like a sew through button, just like these, and that inspired me for this. The rest of my clothes, the rest of my clothes here are a bit more Connery inspired. I am using Roger Moore's shirt maker. This shirt it's a bespoke shirt that I got at Frank Foster, and but this one, the collar in this one is a little shorter than a Roger Moore collar, more of a Connery style collar. And I've got the cocktail cuffs on my shirt that both Roger Moore and Sean Connery wore.
Well, it's interesting. A lot of people do that. They'll take inspiration. I love it when I see people put together an outfit. For example, I love to wear Sea Island cotton. It's amazing the way it feels. I mean, it's almost got that kind of like silky, type of feel to it. But that was an inspiration, obviously, from so many of the novels, but also some of the movies.
Oh, yes.
But what you've done, and what I like people to do, is almost like not to get into what I call cosplay. So wearing an exact outfit, which I've done, which many of us have done, it's fine, it's a moment, but I find that in my daily life, like right now, I'm, none of this is really Bond except for the watch, but it's an end peel, cashmere, it's, that type of a kind of a chukka boot suede. It's got aspects of it. So inspiration is where we would draw from.
Yeah, I think it's great to learn from James Bond, not try to be James Bond because we're not James Bond. We're not.
I gotta go. How dare you, sir? No, you're right. You're right.
And we're our own selves, and that's really important. We have to know who we are.
Identity.
Yeah, we have our own identity, and I think that's more important than anything else. And James Bond can help us find that identity.
That's true.
He can help us, but we're still our own people, and that's what's really important.
I think sometimes, especially nowadays, people forget, especially in this hobby, observers, families, friends, girlfriends, they look at this and they go, wait, you're wearing his what? But the reality is that every generation have had inspirations. Look at Steve McQueen, look at Paul Newman, look at Marlon Brando. I mean, how many people are wearing t-shirts and leather jackets because of those individuals? Style icons influence us.
Oh, sure. And I think it's also important to look at not just what they're wearing, but how they're wearing it.
Great point.
And that's what I try to learn from. Actually, back to what you were saying about Sea Island cotton. This shirt is made from something even better. It's
what?
This cotton is, well, Sea Island cotton is more about where it's from. This is a weave it's called zendaline.
Wow.
It's a type of cloth. If you feel it,
is that like mithril?
It looks like silk. Doesn't it look like silk?
Yeah, it does. It does.
It looks like silk.
It's like got a sheen to it almost.
It has a lot of a sheen. It even has a bit of kind of some slubs in it like silk, but it's cotton.
Huh.
There are a lot of there are a lot of great alternatives to what James Bond wore too that are just as good. And
absolutely.
And sometimes we can get the same effect from those things.
Okay, so inspiration's one thing. I'm dying to ask you this question, so we're getting it on film. If you yourself could have any outfit from any of the films, head to toe, any of the films, any of the Bonds, which one would it be? It's a tough one.
I would definitely say one of Connery's. I think Connery's outfits are the most of what I like.
Right.
They're not really they're not so dated. I've always really loved the dark gray flannel suit that he wears at the beginning of Thunderball.
Oh, I love that one. Yes.
And it's got
the one with the jetpack and everything.
Oh,
right?
yeah, the one with the jetpack. It's a beautiful, dark gray flannel.
Yep.
The shirt is a beautiful blue from Turnbull and Asser, a beautiful navy grenadine tie. A black grenadine tie from Turnbull and Asser.
He'll correct himself. Trust me.
And his ankle boots that are his slip-on ankle boots, which are fantastic.
They're so cool.
You can't find those anywhere, can you?
I haven't seen any slip-ons. No, difficult.
Yeah, I've seen slip-on shoes that are similar.
Right.
Not those slip-on ankle boots.
That's fantastic. I think George Lazenby had, but didn't he gravitate towards slip-on boots as well? Or?
Yeah, he had some of that. He also had some monk shoes, like what I'm wearing now.
Right.
Some black monk shoes, and they're great. I liked all of Lazenby's clothes too. Actually,
yeah,
I think he has.
They're great.
The most beautiful clothes.
To me, they capture the time, and yet they're timeless. Timeless, if that makes sense.
Some of his clothes are very timeless,
right.
like his let's say like the navy suit that he wears to the office.
Yeah,
that outfit is completely timeless.
Right.
With the blue shirt and the white shirt and the knitted tie, the dark blue knitted tie. You have it's so timeless there, and then you have his ruffled shirts.
Yes, good point. Okay, and, that is a little Dumb and Dumber moment.
The shirts are. Frank Foster made him some beautiful shirts. Yeah. They're beautifully crafted. They are dated, but I can still see a lot of beauty in those ruffled shirts.
They're amazing. So I have a question for you, because every time that I've seen you in person, and even in pictures, I see you dressed impeccably. Sports jacket, just absolutely. Sometimes maybe without a sports jacket, but always looking the part. Do you ever, on a Sunday morning, put on a T-shirt?
I don't put on a T-shirt, no.
Do you own T-shirts?
Undershirts.
Do you have basketball shorts that are shiny with a number on it?
Well, not with a number, but I do have clothes that I work out in. I wear polos when I dress down.
Okay, so no T-shirts. You would not walk out of here in a T-shirt.
Never. No, I don't.
He's so true to himself.
I would never walk out of my home without a collar, some kind of collared shirt.
Right.
Whether it's a polo or this. James Bond really didn't go out in T-shirts
He didn't.
And not until Casino Royale. Not until Daniel
that's
Craig.
true. That's right.
Daniel
Yes.
Craig did some of that. And you had a few other occasions like Roger Moore when he's in that he's wearing that blue V-neck T-shirt when he's being pulled through the
That's right.
the water in Fear Eyes Only.
That's right.
But
you almost feel like he had something over that before.
he did. That doesn't count. He didn't put that on to go out. James Bond did not put that on, and is also in. Yeah.
So we're going to offer an award. So if anybody sees Matt Spaiser in a T-shirt out in the wild and gets a picture, we're going to send you a Bond Experience swag pack anywhere in the world. But you've got to capture. It's going to be harder than Bigfoot, I would assume, to capture you in a T-shirt out in the
I
streets.
think people are going to have to be peeking through my window.
And you can't have your girlfriend take that picture and send it in. That doesn't count. There's just no cheating in that. No cheating. All right, I want to get back to your website because your website is amazing. You're multi-channel. You've engaged. What's next? I mean, I'm sure you're thinking like vision. I mean, are you going to get into maybe video? Are you going to different outlets? Like, what's in it? What's the future hold?
Yeah, I don't know yet.
One article at a time.
One article at a time. It's it's always. I mean, I have a few articles are all ready to go. I mean, I try to always have more articles prepared, more ideas. I always just writing down whenever ideas come into my head about what to write about, different ways to see James Bond's clothes, different aspects of his clothes. But other than that, I just take it one step at a time.
Thank you so much for your time. This has been great. Everybody's been curious about, who are the people behind these blogs and vlogs and pictures that they follow. So you've helped to uncover that mystery, and I want to thank you for the time.
Well, thank you for featuring me.
It was great.
Really great.
Thank you. And remember, T-shirt, reward, it's never going to happen. This has been David Zaritsky and Matt Spaiser. We'll see you very soon. Take care. Oh, hey, you're still here. I didn't even know. You listen, while you're here, if you want, so I would actually go to this button right here and click on it, because then you actually subscribe to our vlogs. It's amazing. You get to see all the upcoming stuff first. You get notifications. It screams at you while you're at work. It's absolutely amazing. Just click on this button, hit subscribe. Just move your cursor, move.